Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Man, we just finished. Let me turn this music down. We just finished the first master class. We have 12 master classes that we're doing for tax professionals that are interested in becoming licensed enrolled agents. We're having a live event in Vegas, but until June, we are doing free master classes for tax professionals. And today's class was about who can practice before the IRS. We discussed the difference between tax resolution and tax representation. Some people who are not licensed, because if you're licensed, you know the difference because you've had the education and the training. Those of you that aren't licensed and joined us on the masterclass today learned that there is a difference. It's not the same. If you are not a licensed enroll agent, a qualified CPA, or a qualified attorney, you cannot represent a taxpayer before the IRS at all. The difference between tax resolution and tax representation is uh, tax resolution, for me and in short, is a service. That's like it's a offering compromise, a installment agreement, a partial pay installment agreement. It's the service. Tax representation is what you are doing if you are licensed. Uh, a good example is I noticed that there are some unlicensed tax professionals that are advertising audit representation or advertising tax representation. They cannot represent you if they aren't licensed. The only way a unlicensed tax professional can assist a professional, I mean a tax profession, not a tax professional, a taxpayer. The only way a tax professional can assist a taxpayer is if they prepared the tax return, and they are still only assisting the client. The only thing they can do without the client being present is called customer service, the IRS customer service. So there was a question that we posted in the live session today that I'm going to read to you all, and I'll go over the answer as well. So the question was, which of the following is practiced before the IRS? It's four answers. The A was appearing as a witness in tax court for a corporation. B was discussing a client's tax return with an IRS revenue officer. C was furnishing information at the request of the IRS. And D was appearing as a witness for a taxpayer. The correct answer was B, discussing a client's tax return with an IRS revenue officer. That is practicing before the IRS. That means that if you are not licensed, you cannot speak with a taxpayer's revenue officer at all. They won't talk to you. You cannot be a power of attorney if you're not licensed. The most that you can be if you're not licensed is a witness. And we talked about that in today's master class as well. You can also call customer service, but again, it's not an advantage for the taxpayer because anytime I'm retained by a taxpayer to represent them, they don't want to have anything to do with the IRS at all. They don't want to talk to the IRS. They don't want to meet with them. They don't want any involvement. And that's why one of the reasons that I became a licensed enrolled agent, because I didn't want any limitations on what I could do with my clients. And I now have that unlimited representation where when someone retains me, I always let them know, listen, if an IRS revenue officer pops up at your business or at your home, do not talk to them. Let them know that you have representation and give them my contact information. That brings a peace of mind to the clients. And that's kind of what they're looking for. They're not looking for me to do a conference call with the Internal Revenue Service with them on the phone. They don't want to talk to the IRS. They're not looking for me to appear as a witness in a interview with the IRS. That's not what they're looking for. And another thing, if you retain me for audit representation, that's what you hired me for, to represent you. You didn't hire me to appear as a witness. Unless you are a licensed enrolled agent, qualified CPA, or an attorney, you cannot represent at all. You cannot do audit representation. It is illegal for you to do audit representation if you're not licensed. That's something that I want tax professionals to understand, because the Office of the Professional Responsibility, they'll reach out to you if they see you marketing a service that you're not licensed to do, or if they find out that you're trying to represent a client in an audit and you're not licensed. Like I said, if you did that person's tax return, then you can call customer service and talk about the audit, but you can't talk to a revenue officer at all. So I want to instill that in all tax professionals. If you're not licensed, you can't do audit representation. You don't have the training. If you had the training, you would be a licensed enrolled agent. So if you like doing representation work, then I encourage you to become a licensed enrolled agent. Otherwise, stick to the tax preparation side. I don't want people coming into the industry and making it hard for us that work so hard for this designation. And we work so hard to stay up to date with the rules and the regulations and all the tax law changes. We pay a lot of money every year for continuing education so that we can properly represent our clients before the IRS. People come in and they get someone that's not licensed. They're not charging the appropriate fees. It's just bad all the way around to do something that you're not licensed to do. It's kind of like me going to a doctor's office. Somebody kind of knows how to diagnose someone, but they don't have the proper designation or the training or the degrees to do doctor work. You shouldn't be doing it. And it's not good for your insurance company either, because that's a big lawsuit. If you're telling me that you're going to represent me before the IRS, but you're not licensed to do so, and anytime you try to make outreach with the IRS, you have to have the taxpayer on the phone, on a conference call. They don't want to be a part of that. Trust me. So you're really not providing the work that you were retained to do because you're not licensed. So I hope that everyone understands that tax resolution is not the same as tax representation. If you are a taxpayer and you need audit representation and you don't know anyone to retain, you can always go on the IRS's website. If you Google the P10 directory, the PTIN directory, IRS P10 directory, it will bring up all registered tax professionals. There is also a way for you to filter it down to enroll agents, CPAs, and I think you can also filter it down to attorneys, qualified attorneys. That list that comes up in your area, if you're trying to find somebody licensed, that is the list that you want to go by. If somebody tells you that they can represent you in an audit, or any type of collection case, any type of representation work, and you're not sure if they're licensed or not, go to that website, and it'll pull up all the licensed tax professionals that can legally represent you before the IRS. I just wanted to jump on here to give you all the overview of today's masterclass. We had a lot of fun. We answered some questions and we gave you a taste of what is going to take place in Las Vegas. I'm excited. If you're interested in becoming a licensed enrolled agent, you should join us in Vegas at our 3-day live boot camp. If you're on the fence, if you're not sure if this is the career move you want to make, join us weekly on the free master classes that we're offering. It's free. You don't have anything to lose. It's every Thursday at noon. You do have to register for it. It's not on social media. It's on a private Zoom. So I'll post that link to register for next week's. And if you missed today's session, it was recorded, so we'll email that out to those that missed it, and we're gonna also email it out to those that joined but want to watch it again because it was good, and it was good. Let's see if I have any questions. I don't see any questions. So I am going to get back to work. I just wanted to come on here to chat about today's session because it was good, and hopefully it helped people that didn't understand the difference to get it. Okay, no questions on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. All right, then. Y'all have an amazing afternoon, and I will see you all next week.